Tensura What If? Silver Timeline by CBCTEBAS Chapter 37 Insectar Invasion. It has been 100 years since the recruitment of the demons. Rimuru is seen sipping tea as he signs the papers in his desk. Noir is standing behind him as he pours Rimuru a drink and sorts the files in the room. "It's so peaceful," Rimuru said as he placed the cup down and grabbed a file. "Rimuru-sama, we need your help." Siren rushed into the room as Rimuru read the daily reports. "Calm down, what is this about?" Rimuru walked out of the room and Siren followed. "Did I jinx it?" Rimuru thought. "We have encountered a Category 3 threat from Universe Emdudu. The Holy Angels made contact and have requested backup." Siren explained as she leads the way to the gate. "Currently Lei-sama, Jahil-sama, Enki, and their subordinates have departed. I've been ordered to request your presence as well." "Where is Velgrand?" Rimuru asked, not hear her name from the roster of people that went in to help. "Velgrand-sama is currently visiting the Cardinal World. I could not get in contact easily." "Tisk, perfect timing. What about the casualties?" "Currently we have thousands of casualties on the Cherifes, and hundreds on sprites. The Enkis and Holy Angels have suffered as well, but have kept it in minimal." Siren answered as she calls her sirens. "The damages done to Emdudu universe is large. Most of the planets of Sector E to T's star systems have been destroyed. Majority of the fighting is in Sectors X, Y, A, and C." Rimuru and Siren passed through the gate and fighting can be seen everywhere. Sector X, as Rimuru's group continues to find new worlds and universe. They have started to name them and sort them properly. Each universe were given names, and inside these universes, they further get categorized into sectors. Each sector is a star cluster or a group of star system. They go from A to an estimate of reaching Z's. Most of the double and triple letters are still uncharted, unmarked areas, as they still lack worlds from those parts. In the world that they arrived in, the world has already collapsed and debris are all that remain of the planet. Lei's group is currently facing a swarm of insects that are in the numbers of the hundreds of thousand. The insects rank being around B to A rank. A fight of Holy Angels, Enkis, Cherifes, Aqua Sprites versus insects are happening all over the area. Not just on where they stand, but the surrounding planets have also been destroyed and beings are fighting there as well. In the past 100 years, Rimuru has been able to increase the numbers of the Cherifes and the sprites. They learned that the world where the sprites came from passively produce an average of 80 water sprites annually, making their total number above 12,000 as of now. As for the Cherifes, thanks to their evolution, they no longer kill the mother at birth, although the mothers are still weakened for life and the Cherifes potency decreased as well. The children are obviously fiery men, similar to how the sprites that are born are water sprites and not aqua sprites. This, however, is not a problem as Rimuru regularly contracts them to evolve them all. The Cherifes are now more than 200,000 in total, not including the casualties for the past century. Due to their large numbers, they are the main vanguard, meat shields, for any type of large-scale fights. With the aqua sprites behind them as support, second meat shields. Even right now, more than 20,000 have already died on the Cherifes alone, protecting the others and sacrificing themselves. This formation was suggested by Noir and approved by Rimuru. Practically speaking, they are easier to increase in numbers, or more like, they are the only subordinates that can be increased in numbers. The others like Enkis, Sirens, Holy Angels, and Demons can't reproduce. If the spiritual beings die, it takes at least 500 years for them to be revived at a minimum. If the Cherifes or sprites die, it takes less than a year to have 20 more of their kind. One of the previously larger worlds, 3 people are fighting as they fly around, destroying everything that was left of the poor world. Enki, Jahil, and Gamaliel are struggling as they fight of one of the stronger enemies. From what they could assess, the enemy is at least S rank in strength. Meanwhile, all of them are only in S-. Unlike the insects that the Enkis and Holy Angels are fighting, what they face is an insectar. An evolved, stronger version of the insects. Siren, help those 3. Rimuru ordered as he looked at their battle. "Have your sirens help the others as well." "Understood, Rimuru-sama." Siren bowed and with her subordinates flew to battle. "Rimuru-sama, should I assist as well?" Diablo, who came with them, asked in his side. "Kufufufu, this insects reminds me of my failures." Noir brought his demons with him just in case. Normally I would say yes, however in terms of strength you don't have much for that one. I see Apollyon and Mitsriel struggling with their enemies, assist them however you can. Kufufufu understood Rimuru-sama. Noir flew towards a different direction and went to where the two thrones were fighting as he brought his demons with him, killing all the insects along the way. Rimuru flew through the battlefield, occasionally helping and annihilating a swarm of insects. Found you, Rimuru said as he saw Lei and an enemy fighting at Sector C. The enemy has a substantial exoskeleton covering his entire body, acting as a suit of armor. His entire, down to the tiniest hair, exoskeleton is constructed of alieninum and is silver in color. His back is covered in 2 pairs of crimson wings, and his forehead has 2 antennas and long, blade-covered hair. 3 sets of arms protrude from his torso. The top pair can transform into bladed weapons, the middle pair can be used for melee combat, and the bottom pair can cast magic. Ha! 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 Lei breathed heavily as she held her sword and shield. Meanwhile her opponent barely has any notable damage on his body. Lei is a mental type, and her opponent is obviously on the physical type. Insects also have a passive resistance to magic. It was an inevitable bad matchup from the start. Lei surviving this long is already showing how powerful she is. As the Insectar uses his fist to strike her, something blocked the attack and pushed the Insectar away. Glad I could make it, Rimuru said as he took out his mythical grade sword Rakshasa. Rimuru Sama, Lei said dizzily. Take a rest for now, Rimuru said as he looked at her exhausted appearance. I can still fight, Lei said as she tried to move beside him. I know, that's why help the others once you've rested enough. Rimuru patted her head and turned to look at the enemy and started attacking him, leaving the exhausted Lei in place. Rimuru forcefully attacks the Insectar as hard as he can, while the other simply parries or dodges the attack. Not realizing Rimuru's goal was to isolate them both. Soon they've reached Sector J, right in the middle of the sectors that have been destroyed. In this part, no one could interfere and be affected by their fight. You sure are strong, even I don't know if I could beat you. Rimuru grinned as he held his sword tightly, rushing in for a slash but was blocked by the arms transformed into swords. The middle arms started punching Rimuru as he was caught off guard, pushing him hundreds of meters away. A strong body, the Insectar stated as he looks at his fist, which has some bruises. Hey, you think so? You're the one that is strong to have that body without any assist from someone else. Rimuru rushed back. The Insectar rushed to him as well. Their fight lasted for a long time. Since they were fighting in empty space, they could not tell visually how long it has been. Though for them, their sense of time has been altered as they continue to use thought acceleration, making it seem like their fight has lasted for more than several decades to maybe even centuries for their perception. Rimuru threw a slash towards the Insectar's face, which was blocked by the 2 arms turned weapons, while the middle pair both punched his stomach. Rimuru was pushed too far. He landed in one of the nearby worlds. The ground cracked and made a 10-meter deep hole with Rimuru in the middle. Unbeknownst to both, they've left the empty destroyed sectors. What was that? Something just came down. It's dangerous, stay back. Several voices like that could be heard. Rimuru could sense that the Insectar was planning to shoot a large magic attack that could pierce a hole through the entire planet. As soon as the attack fired, countergate, Rimuru placed it right in front of the attack. It then redirected and fired towards where it came from, double its previous output. The Insectar rushed towards the attack. Hey, is he serious? Even Rimuru couldn't believe the recklessness of diving towards that attack. The Insectar then dodges in the last minute, sacrificing his left arms, and rushed even faster, coming directly to Rimuru. The speed he was going is no joke, as it could potentially be more dangerous than the attack he fired to the planet. The Insectar raised his fists and punched at Rimuru using his momentum and speed. The damage was high. Rimuru barely blocked with his sword. The ground below him cracked and so did the surrounding area. Help! No! Screams could be heard as the residents of the world panicked as their world is collapsing. Both Rimuru and the Insectar was pushed deeper into the planet as the ground couldn't keep up with their strength. until eventually they passed through the entire planet from one side to the other. They then continued their fight, not even looking back at the result of their fight. The once normal planet was now a hollow planet filled with large cracks and missing pieces. They were to focus on their fight and not perceiving their surroundings that they never noticed. Their fights have started at Sector J and is now in the uncharted area of the double letters. The universe Mdudu only has charted sectors of up to Sector X, meaning from the supposed Sector I and so on are uncharted areas. If they charted the location the two are fighting, they would be in the middle of Sector XN and XO. The sectors that they have passed through were all damaged and the unfortunate worlds that directly interacted with the two have been destroyed without a trace. The more fortunate ones did not get into contact with the two and continues to remain the same. To those who felt their auras flare though, were unfortunate to take in the excess magicules and slowly die off. Some do mutate to try to survive, they however, were in the minority. To think that you could survive this long, Rimuru commented as he slashed towards the insectar. I guess, insects are hard to kill. Rimuru grinned trying to irritate his opponent. Hey, wonder how does that make you, the person that can't even kill that insect, the insectar fired back, as he dodges the sword and threw a fist. The two have continued to mock each other to create an opening to use. In truth however, they have developed some respect to the other to have lasted this long. This has been going for too long now. The insectar announced. Die, engulf virus. Black-like mist started coming out of the insectar's body. The insectar has organic manipulation which allows him to reproduce his very cells. The mist is reproduction of his dark cells that he can manipulate manually. The goal is to have the opponent ingest the cells into their body and be devoured from the inside. Devour them all, gluttony. Rimuru, staying cautious, stepped back and activated gluttony to isolate the mist. Analyzing the mist allowed him to understand their purpose. Trying to eat me now, huh? Rimuru smiled mockingly, showing that the insectar's move didn't work. The insectar was nowhere to be seen. He appeared right behind Rimuru and filled his arms with his magicules capable of even leaving a fatal injury to Rimuru if hit correctly. Rimuru, getting cocky for defending against his enemy's attack, was caught off guard. Getting a direct fatal hit would kill him. Preparing for the impacts that never came. All right, that's enough out of you two. Veldanava appeared right in front of the insectar and holding the fist as if it didn't have the power to kill Rimuru. Veldanava. Rimuru was stunned as he saw him. Why was he here? How did I not sense him? Many question was popping out of Rimuru's mind. Why are you here? Velgrind was worried that no one was home for days. She asked me to look for you. Veldanava shrugs as he looked to the side. Rimuru followed with his eyes and saw Velgrind flying towards them. Rimuru. Velgrind collided with Rimuru as she hugged him tightly. That was dangerous, you idiot, letting your guard down like that. Ha ha ha, I guess, I was mentally exhausted and wanted to joke around for a second. While Rimuru likes to fight, he does not like prolonged battle that don't have meaning. His fight with the insectar may have been fun for the first few days, but after that he was just not enjoying it and is mentally annoyed instead. I guess you all came at the perfect time to save me, thanks, Rimuru said as he responded to Velgrind's hug. That's right. We came at a perfect time, coincidentally just the perfect time. Veldanava emphasized the perfect time and coincidentally. Rimuru has his doubts but was too exhausted to argue. Veldanava sighed with relief and looked towards the insectar. Who are you? Why should I say it to you? The insectar spouted at Veldanava. Veldanava looked at the insectar and placed his other hand to his chin to think. You feel just like Ivaraj. A descendant maybe? Veldanava assess. The insectar jolted for a split second before composing himself. Interesting, you have sentience. Rimuru, look, just like I said, Ivaraj in the future can be a sentient being. It can already produce sentient descendant. Sentient and too powerful. No wonder, it's that thing's descendant. Rimuru sighed, understanding where the insectar's strength originated from. The rest slowly came together to where Rimuru and the others are. From Lei and her holy angels, Enki and his Enkis, Sirens and her Sirens, and the surviving insects with 2 insectors. I have a proposition for you. Veldanava said to the insectar he was still holding in his arm. The insectar simply looks at him. I'll spare your life, if you submit. The insectar fell silent, Normally he would say to anyone that say that, to go pack themselves. However, Veldanava is an incredibly strong being that can kill him the instant he says no. He does not see anything wrong with working for someone that is stronger than himself. After contemplating for minutes, thinking about the pros and cons. I'll submit to you, the Insectar said. Veldanava nodded with a smile. Good. Veldanava clapped to get everyone's attention. The fight is over, everyone. Let us all go back to our daily lives. Veldanava said as he disappears with the Insectar and his subordinates, leaving behind Rimuru's group. I guess we should go as well, Rimuru said, patting Velgrin's back, signaling her to let go. She ignores him and continues to cling to him. Rimuru has a conflicted expression. He doesn't want to force her to let go. He tried looking for help from the others. Inky and Siren simply smile at him, saying that, that's impossible. Noir is in a similar manner. Lei stares for a bit and shrugs her shoulder, signaling for Rimuru to give up. Rimuru sighed and they all returned to Citadel and returned to their daily work, after getting the status report of the damages and casualties that is.